Hey guys, welcome to AutoMotivate. I'm Chris. When people start to talk about drift cars, they start to talk about engine and drivetrain swaps. However, that is not budget friendly and not for beginners. We as beginners are wanting a car that with very minor modifications will be able to slide around corners with the stock engine and transmission. Well, that is very much possible. Today, I'm going over 5 very budget-friendly drift cars, and they are all under $3,000. Let's get started. In the 1970s, Japan gave birth to the drifting scene. They started up different competitions solely for drifting, and there it grew a huge fan base who truly loved smoking tires and understeering into an art form. The earliest drift event that took place in USA was in 1996 at Willow Springs Raceway in California. But contrary to the stereotypical belief, you don't need a JDM beast to drift. Instead, you could use an American muscle like the 1980 to 1997 Ford Thunderbird or a Mercury Cougar. Believe it or not, these cars can drift. It's all what you make it to be. And basically, this is just a slightly larger Mustang. The prices for these cars can be as low as $1,000 for a running car. If you opt for the Fox body generation between 1980 and 1988, you'll be getting a pretty nice looking car with a solid rear axle. But if you grab yourself a more modern MN12 car, which is the Thunderbird and the Cougar between 1989 to 1997, you'll be looking at an independent rear suspension that was in the 1999 Mustang Cougar. And a variety of engines, including a V6, supercharged V6, and a V8. One bonus is the length of the car. It's a bit long, which means they will be a bit easier to control while you're drifting, which is why this is a fantastic choice for a beginner. And some come with an LSD. If you happen to find one that isn't, the swap is not too hard. Along with the Thunderbird and Cougar, every car on this list, you'll need to do 5 main things before you can drift. Weld the diff, grab yourself a bucket seat, add an angle to your car, lower your car, which I actually have a video coming out soon on how to lower your car for only $100, so stay tuned for that. And 5, prep the car for a drift event, like a battery strap down, fire extinguisher, and a few other mandatory things that your event will require. So I'm just going to say that once, but it applies to every car on this list. BMW E36 or E46. This is probably one of the most well-balanced drift car options you could get with a 50-50 weight distribution and 3,250 pounds. Either the E36 or the E46 are fantastic. Personally, I really like the E36 BMW a lot better compared to the E46 design because they look a lot more sleek, slim, and aggressive. There are a lot of variants between the 3 Series BMWs, but one thing you need to make sure that it does have a manual gearbox. And I can guarantee if you go to any drift event, there will be at least 3 to 4 BMW 3 Series out drifting. Parts for the car can get relatively cheap if you buy aftermarket as well, but you will be SOL if the engine goes out. But that would give you a great opportunity to find yourself a wrecked Camaro and drop in an LS1 into your drift bucket, which is why you see all the pros drifting in these cars. SM95 Mustang GT or Fox body. So along with the Fox body, Thunderbird, and the Mercury Cougar, the Fox body Mustang and the SM95 Mustang are fantastic choices. Dollar to power ratio is definitely worth a look because you can buy an SM95 GT for about $2,500 and it has 260 horsepower, and that's fantastic. The SM95 Mustang GT stock suspension does feel like a boat, so replacing that would be a necessity. And my video about lowering a car under $100 is on a 2002 Mustang GT. Not only are all these Ford cars fantastic setups for drifting, especially with their 57 to 43 weight distribution from front to rear for the S95 4.6 liter V8, it is pretty solid and they are great foundations. They are just a bit front heavy and that's all. Nothing an aluminum block, fiberglass hood, and a Lexington glass windshield can't fix. Mazda Miata NA or NB. The Mazda Miata had to be added to this list. Just had to. They are reliable, small, and easy to drive, so of course they will be fantastic drift setups. There's one huge downfall, which is a short wheelbase. That essentially makes it prone to spinning out a lot easier compared to longer wheelbase cars. However, as you will notice, many drifters rose above that and made some pure track slayers with their Miatas. You will have to really learn the car and it will take a lot of patience. However, even the small amount of power that these cars have is more than enough in regarding to how much they weigh. After all, they are 50-50 weight distribution. GM G-body cars. Now let's talk a bit about Chevy and their potential in the drifting world. Basically there is a lot, and a lot of choices like the Monte Carlo, El Camino, Buick Regal, and the Buick Grand National that will be great starting platforms to throw around the track. They were all produced between 1978 and 1988 with a 56 to 44 weight distribution, which isn't too bad. Just some minor modifications will allow this car to weigh closer to 50-50 weight split. Oh, and also, these cars are on the same platform, so the weight distribution should all be very similar. But theoretically, if you can remove 200 pounds from the front and move 50 pounds to the back, you'll be pretty close to that 50-50 weight split with these 3,200 pound cars, which is pretty dang close to BMW E36, which weighs 3,250 pounds. What is so amazing about these cars are that they have very cheap parts and their ability to insert just about any engine due to their large engine bay. If you are a beginner to drifting or even a bit more professional, these cars are great choices. What car would you pick? With minor modifications, that is very doable. You'll be able to slide around the corners very cheap because some of these cars can be found as little as $2,000 or even $1,000. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to press that like button and consider subscribing. And I know you want to watch something else of mine. This is Chris AutoMotivate. Always appreciate one another. I'll see you next time.